Welcome to Category 5 Technology TV. It's episode number 555. 555. Welcome to the show. In my hand is a microcontroller. And when I say micro, it is truly micro.
It's tiny.
And I'm going to take a risk tonight because I'm pretty new to things like being a maker, soldering, and creating little micro circuitries and things like that. But we're going to learn together. We're going to play with this device, which is powered by an AT-Tiny 85 microcontroller. It's called the Digispark. Stick around. We're going to show you how you can build a controller and do some really cool things for just about $3 or $4. Stick around.
This is Category 5 Technology TV.
Our live recordings are trusted only to solid-state drives by Kingston Technology. Revive your computer with improved performance and reliability over traditional hard drives with Kingston SSDs.
Category 5 TV streams live with Telestream Wirecast and Nimble Streamer. Tune in every week on Roku, Kodi, Plex, and other HLS video players. For local showtimes, visit category5.tv.
Category5.tv is a member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here, cat5.tv/TPN, and the International Association of Internet Broadcasters, cat5.tv/IAIB.
What a week we are here.
Yes.
We're ready to do a show and ready to hang out with you. I hope that you are here for the full hour. This is going to be a lot of fun. How you been?
I've been great.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm Robbie.
I'm Sasha.
It's Sasha. Yeah, it's been an adventure. We had some technical difficulties before the show.
Right.
And even though you're probably watching this on demand or on cable TV, fact is we also broadcast live. So there are just a bunch of yous watching live. Hey to you. Thanks for being here tonight. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. Anything new?
Anything new for me?
Yeah. Right out the gate.
Well,
this is your chance to shine.
That's right. I live my life in VR now.
Yeah.
It's really
been the way that you've been spending your time.
Completely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that the weather's nice.
So what does Dave do? Because like that could be really antisocial if your husband was sitting there waiting for his turn.
Here's the thing, and I feel a little bit bad about Dave because I used to be just the watcher of the games.
Okay, but now all of a sudden it's immersive. And now you've got to wear the headset.
Now I want to be part of it, right? So he used to always, even with the new rig, any place, like any console games or anything, like he would play and I would watch and I would just be the backseat driver.
Yeah.
Now I want to play. But the difference between the games I want to play and the games he wants to play is that I'm still interested in his games. Right. He's less so interested in mine, but we are...
So what's the difference?
Well, I like games that are... they're not storyline based as much, right? Like I do like Dead Effect. Mm-hmm. I do like Dead Effect VR, but I don't play it as much as I play like Audio Shield or Hollow Dance or...
No idea what she's talking about.
Knockout.
Hollow Dance.
Hollow Dance. So you're in like a hologram dance studio. and you're
like
dancing.
A hologram. I was picturing like an empty vessel.
Right? Or Hollow Point,
dancing, which is what I would be on the dance floor.
Right? So Hollow Point is archery, and you're shooting these targets, and then the shrapnel from the targets shoot back at you.
Nice.
So it's really active.
And you were saying that this is really a workout.
It's a huge...
This is like... Wii Fit on steroids.
It's insane. So I don't know if you've ever played Knockout League, I think it's called. So you're a boxer, and you've got the headset on, so you can see your boxing.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Right. Yes. Only, very similar, actually. Okay, except that it's insane, right? When you get hit in the face, all of a sudden your vision goes blurry, right? Because it's a headset, right? So it does that.
Mm-hmm. Really? Okay, so it actually gives you the perception that your character would have.
Exactly, and there's haptic feedback in my stuff, right? So when I land a good punch, I can feel it. And also the head, right? There's enough...
No.
I think so, unless it's just my head.
That's actually Dave being like, hey, it's my turn. It's my turn. You can't hear him, but he's like, I want a turn. Haptic feedback.
Okay, so here's what happened. So there's different opponents that are levels, obviously, but in my mind, they're just opponents.
Okay.
And you can beat them eventually.
Yeah.
But
That's the hope.
Right, that's the hope. But it's boxing, right? So you can only really go only for so long before you die. So I'm trying to fight.
So you're standing there in VR, like boxing in real time. What is to keep you from like putting a fist through your 60-inch TV?
That you set. You need to come over. You set a digital wall in the
deal.
room. Right.
All right, guys. That's the end of the show. Have a great night. See you later.
So I'm not done with
You heard the invite?
Yeah, that's true. So I'm trying to fight this new opponent. Her name is the Crimson Tide. She's a beast. She actually is a beast, but like she wears a. Anyways,
like literally,
she's a beast. So I really want to beat her really bad. So Monday night I was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna fight the Crimson Tide. I'm gonna win.
So your day at work was pretty rough.
Well,
when I end a shift and I'm like, I'm so gonna beat up the Crimson Tide.
I firstly did not win.
Okay.
Secondly, I tried 3 times. And thirdly, not only was my headset so fogged up on the inside from my effort, and I was like sweat dripping off me.
This is a great story, Sasha.
I couldn't move the next day.
Oh, no way.
Right? Yeah. So that's how good VR. That's what's new with me. That's how good VR is. So
you need to step back to some games that Dave can participate in.
Right.
Because like he's just sitting there just watching you fight an invisible opponent.
Right. So it's less fun for him to watch me than it is for me to watch him because his are storyline games, right? So his are like he's playing Fallout 4 VR, right? Like there's a progression and there's characters and there's cinematics and it's fun for everybody. And I'm not. I'm punching orbs that are floating through the air to the beat of music, really.
Sounds cool.
Or killing the Crimson Tide.
I mentioned Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and I think that if you realize what that is, and if you played that as a kid,
right,
then you really have a bit of an inkling, better than the kids these days, of where games have come from.
Right.
Really, because that was exciting for me when I would fire up Mike Tyson's on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it was like, go Google it, look at the graphics, terrible. Right, and but that's how far it's come. But that was fun. So I can't wait to see it.
I know.
So speaking of old games,
yes.
Do you remember on the show? I don't know if it was like 17 years ago or something like that. We were talking about your retro favorites. We were setting up a retro pie, and this is a gaming system. It was like, there's this one, and they're like running sideways, and the whole community was all over this, trying to figure out what game this was. We never got it.
No.
And it clicked.
Yes.
How did it click?
Okay, so last week what's the system it's on?
Well, it is on the Commodore 64.
Okay, so this is what happened.
But I found out there is an Atari 2600 version.
Oh, maybe that. Okay, so no, but it was the Commodore. Because here's what happened. It was in like my Google News feed or something, and there was something about the Commodore 64. There was a news story about the Commodore 64.
How well does Facebook know you?
Well, it's not Facebook. It's Google.
It was Google.
It was Google. So they're listening, obviously.
They're like, here's the game. Our AI has figured it out for you.
Our loved viewers couldn't figure it out. But here you go. So it was just a picture, and it was something about like how far games have come. It was probably about VR, knowing my search history. And I was like, oh, that looks really familiar. I thought, maybe I've had one of these in the past. Clearly, I live in the moment and don't have any recall. I had a Commodore 64. So then I Googled games for the Commodore 64.
Yeah. And you start looking through the list.
I start looking through it, and I found it.
She found Snokey.
I know.
I really badly want to find a ROM for this and get it on your RetroPie, get you all set up.
I want that too. Okay, so look that up, because now go back to, what episode was it? Like 7,000 years ago.
I can't remember when we talked about it.
You need to play the game and also listen to me describe it, because I'm pretty sure that they're not exactly the same.
And when you Google, should we bring it up?
Yeah.
Should we see what Snokey looks like?
I want to call it Snooky, but I feel like that's because
I feel like you may have been mispronouncing it all your life. And let's
look. Google wants it to be.
Wow, Nicole Polizzi. Hello, Nicole. I'm going to see if I can bring up my screen here for you. Snooky? No, we don't want Snooky. We want Snokey. Ah, there it is. C64 long play.
Okay, let's take a little look.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, this is it for the C64. Does this take you back?
Oh yeah, this is it.
This is it?
Yeah. Here we go.
No way.
This is the game of my childhood. This is where it began.
From Funsoft. Look at that. There's no way it was this good on the Atari. Maybe. Okay. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it has a very Atari-like graphic.
I described exactly this, right?
Exactly.
There are hills and valleys, and you're like a little bird thing. I thought you were yellow, and you jump over things.
Wow, Sasha, that is incredible. So you look at that, and this is what you were you wanted to find this.
Oh yeah.
Now look at your gaming experience with the Vive.
I know.
In VR.
That's true.
That's how far we've come in your short life.
Right.
That's how far technology has come.
Right. Well, when you think about it, the guy who invented Pong, is still alive today.
Wow.
Right?
And that's a little square moving around
and
bouncing off of little rectangles.
Yeah.
Nutty.
Oh my goodness. That takes me
Unbelievable.
right back.
Wow. Hey, Category 5 TV shirts are still available. I think we're just going to keep this thing going because people are still purchasing some, and we're starting to get photos from viewers. You can go to cat5.tv/shirts to pick up yours.
Right. Do it. And then email a picture of yourself wearing it.
Ooh, somebody did this week.
Oh, yeah?
Marshman! Here's Marshman from the mid-Hudson Valley, New York. And Marshman says, could you do your best Marshman impression?
Well, I'm no Marshman, but I do have a cold, so I might be a little bit...
There you go. So her voice is
already
deeper
a little
than
deeper.
usual.
Maybe Marshman will also have a coughing fit at some point. Love watching the show on either the website, YouTube, or Roku. Wish we had a larger stuffed cat for my shoulder. Can't have a real cat since all of us are allergic. You will see less of me in the coming months as I am on a diet. Puns. Oh, puns. The target is to lose 50 pounds by Thanksgiving Day, U.S., which is... later. He's giving himself a longer timeline.
You know what? That's a really good idea to start to set your goal, and the deadline is Thanksgiving. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Am I right, people?
Yeah. I hit my goal. Pass me the pie.
Yeah, now let's eat. Let's eat.
Great.
Yeah. Well, you know what you're going to have to do, Marshman, is you're going to have to pick up another shirt about 2 sizes down.
That's what happens. 50 pounds, that's at least 2 sizes.
We are rooting for you, my man. We are absolutely rooting for you. And it looks great in the shirt.
I know.
And I love that he just described the cat, because I was like, what is that on his shoulder?
Right. I understand cat allergies. I understand allergies altogether. Right now I'm having pollen ones.
Yeah, 'tis the season around here.
So... did he email the contest?
He emailed it, but he said...
what?
He doesn't have a gaming rig. So we're going to have to build him a gaming rig.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. That's our next show, folks.
Okay.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice if Category 5 had that budget? If you keep buying our shirts, maybe one day we can build Marshman a gaming rig.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For you, if you do have a gaming rig and you want to buy...
or the kids...
That's right.
Any kids in your life have a gaming rig and a VR headset? Want to play a little bit of VR?
Well, I want to escape reality for virtual reality.
Take on the alien folks.
Exactly. Dead Effect VR.
Dead Effect 2.
Dead Effect 2 VR. To me, it's just Dead Effect VR because I've never actually played one. Right.
This is the first for her.
This is the first.
She's like, she went straight from Snokey to Dead Effect.
Pretty much. Yeah. Anyway, you can win it. And then you can be my friend. And then we can play together because I'm not doing very well against the crazy zombies and I need some help. And Dave can't help me because we only have one headset. So it's up to you. Please win and be my friend.
Second headset is a requirement.
Yes. Okay. Back to you and how you can win the game. Email us, contest@category5.tv. Tell us who you are. That's important. Where you're where you're watching from.
Where.
How you're watching.
How.
And also buy a Cat 5 shirt and wear it and send a picture.
Hey, you know what? It doesn't hurt your chances to win.
Yeah.
Because we will actually honor that as if you just automatically won.
It's like a random draw of you.
I think we literally have only like 3 copies left. We've been giving this thing away like every couple weeks. We've been giving this away.
Right.
And
now we're almost done.
We're running low. They're like, whoa, we're making no money on Dead Effect 2 because you guys are giving it all away.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, they're like, no more for you.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah, I need some friend requests on my Steam account.
There you go.
Okay.
Category 5 also is now on Google Play Music Podcasts. And, you know, you can bring up Google Play Music and you can do a search for Category 5. And you can find us that way, or you can just head on over to our website, category5.tv/subscribe. And you will see the Google Play Music icon, which will take you directly to our profile.
Beautiful. So that's for listening, not watching.
That's right. Yeah. Podcasts as in audio. So if you're driving, it's the perfect solution. If you're sitting on the train, you don't want to use up a bunch of bandwidth, you can sync it to your Google Play, and there you go. Also, incidentally, New Every Day is now on Google Play Music Podcasts. That's a really dumb name for a program, by the way. Google Play Music Podcasts.
They will change that.
Yeah, maybe they need to come up with a fancier name or something like that. But we are on there, and our repertoire is growing. Speaking of New Every Day,
yes.
Everything is new this week. New hosts, new set, new music, new intro, new graphics, new everything for season 4. Can you believe 4 seasons?
I cannot believe 4 seasons have passed since New Every Day started.
3 seasons have passed, and we're about to launch season 4.
Awesome.
And if you're a patron of Category 5 TV Network, then you are going to be the first to know all about our new hosts. That is embargoed at this point. And if you are anyone else or a patron indeed, you can also tune in on Friday morning. And if you are watching on KVVB TV, Television for the High Desert on Channel 33, you can also tune in Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m.
Wow.
We've got to take a quick break.
All right.
When we come back, we are, you see, I've got a little bit of a mess around here. This is solder. It's my soldering iron. I got a USB thing. I've got some buttons. I've got a little Arduino microprocessor. We're going to be taking a look at that. We're going to be learning to be makers right after this. For a limited time, get your hands on limited edition shirts from the Category 5 TV network. These high-quality shirts are manufactured by Teespring, a fundraising website, and your purchase will help support the shows we produce. Get yours today and send us your pictures to be featured on the corresponding show. Visit cat5.tv/shirts to support us and get your official network shirt today. cat5.tv/shirts. Welcome back. This is Category 5 Technology TV, and if Sasha Rickman over here on my left, your right, looks antisocial tonight, she's actually being very, very social, because as I mentioned off the top of the show, we do broadcast the show live. So if you're watching this any other way, hey, know that you can actually tune in to the live broadcast and interact with us through Sasha's smartphone.
Here it is.
That's what she's doing. That's what she's doing.
With you.
Hey, look at what I got here. My maker kit. Oh, you can't see it because it's out of the frame. There it is. Oh, I love this stuff. I've been learning to be a maker. I want to learn to create and craft and create circuitry. Like I'm making little guys like this. Like this is kind of, you know. So I'm building boards. I've got my resistors. I've got my microcontrollers, and I'm working on stuff. I'm learning how to do it, but it's a lot of work. And I'm getting there.
Yes.
And so I really feel like, you know, we're at the point where here on the show, it's time to take our maker activities to the next level, where we're actually creating circuitry. We're creating things that
work.
things that make things go.
Yes.
And like it gets me excited, but I'm still very much a novice. And so me as the host of the show, I'm so hesitant to bring this stuff out because I know that I'm really opening up an opportunity to have a show where something goes terribly wrong.
Right.
Things do not work the way that they're meant to.
Right.
Because I'm new to this.
Yes.
So I feel like this is a chance for us to learn together. And I hope that you're willing.
I am willing to learn.
Because we're going to learn together. This is us sitting down to learn. And what I have here tonight is an AT Tiny 85 circuit board. This is a microcontroller. It's called the Digispark. And this was a successful Kickstarter campaign to build this Arduino controller. And I absolutely love some of the things that I can do with this. Now, you think about a Raspberry Pi, it's a microcomputer, and you can use the GPIO headers and you can build things, you can allow it to control things and do whatever you code it to do.
Right.
But a Raspberry Pi, when it's all said and done, really, I mean, they say $25, but really when you've got the case and the power supply and everything else, it's going to cost you nearly $100 for that board.
Right.
This is about $3. Okay, so this is just the microcontroller. It's not a computer. It is something that I'm going to program to do things that are repetitive tasks. Okay. So that can be a program that controls lighting or a program that responds to keystrokes or button presses. Right?
Button presses.
Yeah, and one of the things here at Studio D that we've had an issue with is controlling our camera switcher. So we use Telestream Wirecast on our system here, and it looks a little like that. And this software I can control with my touch screen, but you notice when we do interviews and things like that, I have to sit over there and everybody else is at the table because we don't have a way to switch because I've got to be able to physically interact with the touch screen.
Right, which makes it difficult.
It does sometimes make it difficult, and I'm like, you guys are way over there. What if I could turn this and a bunch of these arcade buttons in the top of our desk into camera switching buttons?
So perfect.
That's what we hope to do.
That's what we will do.
That is what we will do. Lord willing, that is going to happen, and I'm not going to blow up the studio. So these buttons are literally just arcade buttons that you can build your own arcade rig, and the idea is that we're going to have a bunch of them in front of us drilled into the desk. When we hit a button, you can push your button, try it, and now your camera is going to turn on. Oh, and then I can hit mine and my camera turns on. Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
I'm just going to have to hold mine in. Right. So what's going to happen is that's going to send a signal to our little microcontroller, the Digispark.
Right.
Did I mention this is like $3-4?
This is like pennies.
And so we're going to be able to control that. Now, the Digispark only has, now it's got 5 headers on it. And I wonder if you can see this. I know it's... you know what? I'm going to get a really good look at this. With the 5 headers, okay, let's...
Can I ask you a question before we do the overhead?
Please?
I do. Can you... Are you able to, on that overhead camera, can you turn the mic off?
Thank you very much.
You're
Sasha.
very welcome,
and thank
Robbie.
you, chat room, for letting us know about that issue. So let's do that. Here's my overhead camera, and boom. This is live TV, my friends.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
So I'll tell you, it's the Foo who figured out what it was.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Let's make sure Have I got regular sound? You can hear me just fine?
I believe so.
No. There. You guys want to see how I do this?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Da, 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 da. So you're learning a little bit about our broadcast rig here. So this is Telestream Wirecast, for those of you who are interested in broadcasting. So this is our main microphone. This is our headset. And you're hearing a bit of an echo, and we've had that happen in the past. Now, if I switch over the shot and go to the camera, and then go here, now I want to turn off the microphone built into the camera, and lo and behold, now it should sound absolutely fantastic.
Now,
here you go.
Our mics are okay now?
Our mics are beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that sound good? Does that sound good, folks? Part of the fun of doing a live broadcast like this, and whether you're watching live or on demand, I love the interaction with our chat room. It's like you are our director producers. Are we good?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's fire up our microscope. And you've seen this on the show. If you haven't already, make sure you go to our website, category5.tv, do a quick search for microscope. And let's...
This thing is super awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
let's get our little microcontroller in here. And, you know, what other show can do this, folks, so that we can get this and boom. So this is the circuit board that we are looking at. All right, so we've got USB, which is your power, as well as for programming. So it's dual purpose. It does not have to be connected to a computer in order to operate it, but it does in order to program it. We're going to start that tonight. Now we've got some chips and some resistors, and following the circuits up here, we've got there's the AT Tiny 85 chip.
Okay.
And that is the actual microcontroller, just an absolutely brilliant chip. And you'll see that this thing came pre-soldered, pre-assembled, but it's very, very basic.
And so tiny.
Oh, it's so tiny. Like, so that looks huge on your screen, but this is it.
I can't even imagine.
The size of a quarter. Okay. So pin-wise, we've got a 5-volt, a ground, and a VIN. Then we've got actually 6 pins, because it starts at P0, not P1. And that's P0 through 5. So the thing about this particular module, so the controller, the Digispark, is that it can only have 3 of these pins used to control a device out of the box.
Oh.
Okay, so if we want to turn on lights or if we want to change cameras,
right,
it's a problem because we could then only hook up 3 buttons, right? So if we want to have 15 different camera switching taking place, it's not going to work. So that's where I'm going to be introducing a shift register, which is going to take 1 pin and turn it into 8 pins and allow us digitally to control up to, I guess, 7 devices, 7 camera angles from one from 1 pin on the
so you wouldn't need to buy another one of those chips or anything, just a chip?
You could. I mean, at $3 or $4 per controller, you could just make a bunch of them, but then you're using up USB ports in your computer to control it.
Right.
Because this is going to be a hardwired device that allows us to control our cameras.
Right.
That's the inevitable goal. Now, that's not what we're doing tonight. We're just going to have some fun with it.
I do have a question you may or may not know the answer to. So you know how you have the P1 through...
Yes.
Look
P0
at P0 through. So... obviously, only 3 of those pins work, right?
Well, P0 and 1 actually control. This is, let's see if I can get in here with a pencil so that you can see. That is a pencil lead, just so you know how small this is. That is a mechanical pencil. That is an LED.
Okay, and that's P0?
Or that one would be P1.
Okay.
And that looks like another LED there,
okay.
P0. So these trigger, P0 and P1 actually trigger LEDs that are built into the circuit board.
Got it.
So what we want to do is we want to use, for example, P4, and I believe we can actually use P0 and P1. I'm still learning the programmatic, how the circuit works.
Right.
But I know that we can definitely use P4 in order to, as a header that we can use to control, like in our case tonight, we're going to try to control an LED.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's do this.
So, and inevitably, we know that that's going to be something much more exciting. So, let's bring out my maker kit.
Okay.
Because one of the things that we need to do, now it's got all these holes in it, right? We need to use headers so that we can plug things into this device. Right? Look at how huge it looks on the screen. Okay, and then I've got a power header here as well. These things are great. Like a maker kit like this, you can pick them up through our shop on our website, but just having all these kinds of little trinkets handy. Now, these headers come with your Digispark, but we're going to need to actually solder those onto our board. So I've got lead-free solder, and I've got my wireless soldering iron, and I bought this, but I think I'd rather have a soldering station. I'm not really pleased with having a wireless soldering iron. It's really, really, it doesn't stay hot long enough.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, it has limitations, right?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna prop those up like that. You could use your helping hands if you'd like. Let's get some heat here on our soldering iron. And through the magic of TV, it's cool that you can actually see that up close and personal like that.
I actually have never seen soldering happen.
Oh, yeah?
In my entire life.
Well, get ready to see it poorly done.
Well, it'll be the best I've ever seen.
Wonderful.
So
See that? See how I played that, folks? All right, so let's get a little bit of solder on our tip there. Let's see if we're getting any heat. I don't like how long this takes to heat up. Or
smoking.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little bit of heat going on the pin there as well. Let's get in there. Ba-ba-da-da. All right. Boom. Look at how much my soldering has improved, folks. Just because I can work at the microscopic level now. Get some heat.
I could never do this with the amount of coffee I drink. Look at how
much coffee I drink. Come on. Be real here.
Wow. I'd be so shaky.
Well, you say that. It's interesting, though, having purchased this this microscope, I am a little bit shaky. You can see it's late in the day, and I have had several pots of coffee, but I'm doing an okay job there.
This looks cool.
It looks nice, right? So, but working at the microscopic with this device, I find I'm actually, like, your brain switches to microscopic mode, and suddenly I'm actually doing it.
Right.
Now, I'm putting the pins on the reverse side here, which is fine. You can put it on the front or the back. Now, I'm putting them on the reverse because I'd like to have the USB exposed on the outside, so that when I put this in a case, it's going to be a little bit nicer, just so you know why I'm doing it that way.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to do a quick job on these guys here. Let's get that in the shot. There we go. Okay, so this... What I'm going to do here, I'm going to back up just a little bit for you, get into focus here, and I'm actually going to get some solder on my soldering iron and hold these. So I'm holding these pins in place with my finger, and then we're going to get that solder right on there so that the solder is actually going to hold this into place.
So solder is glue, like glue. Not it's obviously
it's metal,
not glue.
Yeah. It was getting really hot there. So it's burning my finger. You may want to use something a little better than your fingers here, folks. All right, let's get some solder on there. Here we go. I'm just getting that right there. All right.
What is it made out of?
It's magic and dreams.
Okay, that's good. Looks like dreams.
Working at the microscopic is so neat. And that is miserable.
It's the best
Whoa!
I've ever seen.
What happened to my good soldering job?
It's conductive glue. Thank you.
Conductive
This is
glue?
why I love the
Nice.
chat room so much.
Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a different approach.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to set this up flat. See, and I love learning. I love figuring things out.
Okay.
Can you guys see? So
I'd say it would be helpful if I held it, but it's like so super tiny. I don't know that I can help
tiny.
at all.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to put it down like that, and I just want to get one pin on there, because once one pin is nice and solid,
Yeah.
it will hold them all together so that I can do the rest.
Right.
And I'm not using Helping Hands, which is a device that will help me.
By the name alone,
Yeah.
I understood.
Yeah. So you could do a better job than I'm doing right now. And that's, part of, I want people to know that it's okay to learn.
Right.
Because I am very much new. Wow, it's so weird.
What is happening to it?
I really don't like these soldering irons. It's basically, it doesn't get hot enough.
Can you just drip that stuff on it? Is that...
Well, no, I want to actually get, and I'll tell you why, Sasha. I want to get it hot. I want to get the pin hot enough that it's going to adhere to it. Basically, I'm wicking the pin and getting the pin hot, and then letting the solder adhere to the board.
Oh.
And boom. A little bit crooked, but it'll hold. Okay, so
Neato.
Now let's grab the other end. All right, so I'm going to finish up all 6 of these pins. I'm going to do a little better job than what you're seeing here, because I'm focusing kind of on video. Wow. you can see it's not melting right. That's this soldering iron. I really don't like these. I want to get a soldering station.
Yes.
So
this is not a winning endorsement of this soldering iron.
No, it really isn't. And I think, I thought, hey, let's get a wireless soldering iron. It's battery powered, and it really does a lousy job. It doesn't get hot enough. It doesn't stay hot enough. So I'm going to finish this up. We're going to come right back after a quick break. When we're back, this is all going to be beautifully soldered, folks.
Yes.
And then we're going to plug it in. We're going to turn it on, and we're going to see what we can come up with as we start programming our Arduino device. Stick around.
Whether you shop on ThinkGeek, GearBest, B&H Photo Video, eBay, or Amazon, or even if you want a free trial of Audible, you'll find the best deals and support the shows we produce by simply visiting the shopping sites you already frequent by using the links on our website. Visit category5.tv/partners for the full and ever-growing list and help us create more free content like this show. Thank you for shopping with our partners, and thank you for watching.
Welcome back. This is Category 5 Technology TV. Now, I said it. I really don't like this soldering iron. It's so cool. It doesn't get hot enough. It's not doing the job for me. I want to get, so that's one of the things I want to add to my kit, is I want to get a good soldering station that is hard plugged into the wall, that heats up real fast, and you can set the temperature. So watch out when you're buying these that you can actually adjust the temperature, not the voltage, but the temperature. That's important. That's going to make a world of difference. Now, I did a pretty miserable job here with this, but we've got... Sasha, don't be a jerk tonight.
Well, it looks really good when I'm not looking at it through the microscope.
Get out of here.
Take a look. It's not good. Okay, continue.
Yeah. All right. So back to the demonstration where, Robbie is showing you how to do things. Can we move on?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So what I want to do now is I want to program this.
Yes.
So now we've got these headers so I can plug things into it.
Perfect.
Okay. It may not be a perfect soldering job. That's okay. I'm learning. We're learning. Again, these are brutally cheap.
Right.
So I can buy one and I can mess around with it. And I've done that. I burnt out one and I've got another one that I'm putting on a board. And I can do all these things and have fun with it and not be afraid to try.
Exactly.
That's part of what's so exciting about the Arduino. Okay. So I'm going to get an LED.
Right.
Light emitting diode. It's just an itty bitty thing. There you go. All right. So we've got a red LED. I'm just going to set that down right there. You can't even. There it is. Right there. Okay. What else do we need? I'm going to get my breadboard. And do you know what a breadboard is?
Well, probably not thinking the same thing you are.
Not the same thing. It's this.
Okay.
So what this does is it allows me to plug things in and prototype, test. And let's get this piece of junk out of the way. It's gonna avoid having to solder and let me plug things in to set them up. So now I can take this LED and just plug it right into this board. Okay?
Got it.
Great. Okay, next up. We're gonna need some wires. Got them. Positive and negative.
Super.
And anything else? I'm going to power it from my computer. I've got a Raspberry Pi power adapter. Going to need a couple of wires. I've got those there. Great to have one of these kits, folks. cat5.tv/maker if you want to pick one up. Okay, so let's get in there and let's get started on setting up our Arduino device. So this is the Digispark. So with this circuit board, now we know we've got pin 4, so I'm going to grab pin 4 here and just simply plug in my lead. I'm going to use black for pin 4, and then we want the ground as well, because what we're going to do is we're going to program this to say, hey, pin 4 is going to be 5 volts, and then it's going to be ground, and then it's going to be 5 volts, and it's going to be ground. So we're going to be able to basically flash this LED.
Right.
That's just a test so that, 1, we know that the board works, and 2, we know that it's able to communicate with our computer. We're able to set it up and program it, and it's going to prepare us for that moment when we can set up all these buttons and do
Right.
something a little more sophisticated. So with my breadboard, now I'm just going to plug in these leads. So I'm going to have positive is going to be my pin 4 and negative is going to be my ground. Okay. So now I'm going to have to tell this. Let's get my coffee mug out of the way here so that you guys can see that just a little bit better. So I'm going to tell this now where to run those lines to. So I'm just going to grab a couple of quick little wires here. So I've got the positive is going to go to, I'm just going to plug it into, line 21. That's fine. And my negative is going to go to line, let's plug it into 17. How about? So that's how your breadboard works. So now I can take this. So my positive is is 21. So I can take the LED, the long end is my positive. I can plug that into 21 and then take the other end, the negative, and plug it into 17, which is a bit of a stretch. Why did I choose those numbers? Because I'm a rookie. There we go. No. There we go. So that's what the breadboard allows me to do. It allows me to set something up like that basic circuit, and now that's plugged into my Arduino controller, the Digispark. So now I can plug this into a computer and start programming it. I don't have to have this plugged into the breadboard right now, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen if I do.
Okay.
Okay, so you need a really good USB cable. Make sure it covers, it carries data and not just charger cable. So I was plugging in my charger cable for my phone, not realizing, it's not actually transferring data, so it wasn't working. And then turns out, lo and behold, it was actually that.
Just a bad cable.
Head on over to digistump.com for more information. Like, they've got their wiki there. digistump.com/wiki is where you want to head over to, and that's where we're going to get information about setting up. Let's bring up my screen here. Connecting and programming your Digispark. We can go through the steps there, and that's essentially what we've already got it connected, but we're going to learn to program it really, really quickly. So I'm not going to plug it in just now. What I want to do is I want to bring up my IDE, which I've already installed. Follow the instructions there on digistump.com. And with my Arduino IDE, let's create a really quick application. So you can grab some kind of ideas from here. We're just going to create something that is going to turn on and off pin 4. So you see the demonstration here is pin 0 and 1, the built-in LEDs. We're going to go pin mode 4 output. And then we're going to go down to loop. So that was our setup. So we've told it that is an output port. We're going to set a loop to, we're going to use their example, digital write 0 high. So that is pin 0, but we're going to go digital write 4, comma, high, semicolon. And then we're going to delay for 1 second, which is 1,000 milliseconds. And then we're going to copy that line. Now, what do you think high means versus low, which is what I'm going to put here? Just a guess?
On or off.
Yes. So basically 5 volts is high.
Right.
Low is ground. So we're going to be switching it on, 5 volts, waiting for 1 second, switching it off.
Perfect.
And then loop.
Thank you for asking me a question that I knew the answer to.
Fantastic. Okay. So now I'm going to save that and verify my program. So it's going to compile it and make sure that everything is good. And it says done compiling. And that is about the most basic program. So if you've got a typo, it will tell you. Now, upload. So when I click upload, it's going to recompile, and then it says plug in device now, and this is going to be your moment of truth. So let's take this device. I'm going to disconnect my pins from the breadboard right now because I just want to plug it in and allow it to communicate with the Arduino IDE. Now I heard the device connect and it says micronucleus done, thank you, done uploading down at the bottom left. I know it's hard for you to see. So now that that's done, I can simply unplug it. That's all there was to it, Sash.
That is crazy.
So I've uploaded my program. Now it's in there. And now I'm going to plug in my Arduino device. Black is to pin 4. and white is to my ground. Okay, so that's what my circuit now looks like, and I'm going to simply plug this into USB power. So I'm not plugging it into the computer. I want to actually power this device and see if it runs my program. And if it does, we should see this light flash. There we go.
That is neat.
Every 1 second. So we actually created the circuit fairly quickly and created the program to now tell this light what to do. And we told it just very simply, turn on and off again. Did you try turning it off and on again?
You are awesome.
So this is just, I'm just learning. This is fun.
That is great.
And that is the most basic example in the entire multiverse. But it allows you to tinker and allows you to get started. And my boys are eating this stuff up.
Right.
And now we're creating circuits that move the lights and animate them. And you can create light boards and you can do all that kind of stuff. And in our case, here on the show, we're going to be creating a controller for Telestream Wirecast using the Digispark that's going to allow us to control it using these push buttons.
So neat.
It's so cool. So pick yours up. Go to cat5.tv/Digispark, and you can get started on being a maker and just doing simple. We're just getting started.
Love it.
The most simple code in the multiverse. You ready to head over to the newsroom?
I am.
Oh boy, are you controlling tonight?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No,
You're going to give it over to me?
Yeah, it's better
You
for me.
trust me?
Well, I get all distracted.
I'm the guy who does things wrong.
Well, it's better because I do things wrong too, but at least when you're controlling this, I can blame you.
Okay, did you cue it?
No.
Oh,
Did
okay.
you?
No.
Oh.
You want me
Well,
to?
okay. So, yes.
Oh, okay, I'm doing it.
If you would. Do you want to know what the most basic code is? And I don't even want to say too much, but I will a little bit. I'm learning coding from a little app on my phone.
That's cool.
And it's so super basic. It's way basic, and I love it because I get it.
Nice.
Yes.
And this is like JavaScript or C or something like that? I would love to actually have you demonstrate this.
I will
on the show
demonstrate
one
it. I will tell you. Okay, the app. It's called Grasshopper. Let me just see. The coding app for beginners. That's me.
Cool.
But let me know when you're ready.
Oh yeah, it's ready.
What's the one that you and Jeff were talking and you said it looks like
Scratch.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Thanks.
No problem. So it's like that on your phone.
Yes.
That's neat.
I made a flag so far.
Cool.
Well, it's hard to. I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll show you.
She'll show us on an upcoming show.
All of you great, awesome supercomputer coders are going to be like, wow, Sasha, this is where you're at now?
Everybody who has ever soldered in their life is laughing at my soldering iron and is laughing at the soldering job I did. You even laughed at my soldering job, which really motivates me to do better. Yeah.
You did a great demo.
It worked, and I was able to make it go.
In the end, I was very much blown away by the flashing lights.
There you go. She didn't know I was actually just pushing a button under the desk.
If you program that button, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Here are the stories we're covering this week in the Category5.tv newsroom. Twitter's 330 million users are being urged to change their passwords after some were exposed on its internal network in plain text. Ford is developing a new smart car window to enable blind passengers to experience the passing landscape. Imagine the frustration of playing a game where the difficulty level constantly changes. That's what an experiment in AI technology is doing to some retro classics. Equifax has published yet more details on the personal records and sensitive information stolen by miscreants after they hacked its database last year. These stories are coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
Jeff Weston.
Yeah, man.
You're building a brand new, beautiful website.
What?
Aren't you?
No. Am I?
Oh, you're a terrible actor.
What?
This is where acting comes into play.
Oh, I didn't know we were acting.
You're supposed to act.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
I'm building a really cool website. Are you building a really cool website?
Just because Jeff is confused doesn't mean you have to be. Visit cat5.tv/dreamhost to sign up for unlimited web hosting for your website with unlimited email accounts, MySQL databases, the latest version of PHP, WordPress, and more, and even a free domain name registration. It's less than $6 per month, so sign up today. cat5.tv/dreamhost.
This is the Category 5.tv newsroom, covering the week's top tech stories with a slight Linux bias.
I'm Sasha Rickman, and here are the top stories we're following this week. Twitter's 330 million users are being urged to change their passwords after some were exposed on its internal network in plain text. An error in the way passwords were handled meant that some were stored in an easily readable form, said Twitter. The passwords should have been put through a procedure called hashing, making them very difficult to read, but the bug caused the passwords to be stored on an internal computer before the hashing process was completed. In a blog, the social network said once the mistake was uncovered, it carried out an internal investigation which found no indication passwords were stolen or misused by insiders. However, it still urged all users to consider changing their passwords out of an abundance of caution. Twitter did not say how many passwords were affected, but it is understood that the number was substantial and that they were exposed for several months. Troy Hunt, who runs the Have I Been Owned website, which keeps a log of breaches, said the error was not something that would worry him because there was no indication that the login passwords were seen outside the company. Still, he urges users to act on Twitter's advice and change their passwords. Independent security expert Graham Cluley reminds us that enabling two-factor authentication adds another ID check to login attempts, which would help harden accounts. So, okay. Two-factor authentication.
Yes.
I am new to it, but I've been part of the show for long enough to understand that it's really important for security. So I now have two-factor authentication right now only on my Steam account.
Okay.
It's annoying.
It can be.
But it's every time I do it. Every single time I'm trying to log in on Steam, and then I'm like, ding, oh, there's my code being texted to my phone.
Yeah.
And I get up and I go to my phone and I come back. Like, I feel a little bit better, right? Like, I feel, okay, not just anybody could just try and figure out my password.
Sure, yeah.
I love it. Should we just start embracing two-factor authentication just across the board? I feel like...
I think it's definitely a good security mechanism. I mean, it is what it is. It's not perfect, but it's something additional. So what that means, two-factor authentication, instead of just entering my Twitter password, when I do, it will send me a text, and then I have to then enter the text code.
Right.
So two-factor authentication makes sure that I am who I say I am because I'm using the phone that is associated with my account, which is great.
I find with Twitter, wouldn't you be on your phone, though, with Twitter?
Yeah. But usually you get a notification and you can see it and it's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and you're done.
I like it. Yeah. I mean, I realize it is not fun. Like, it's not easy, but it makes me feel safer that it's not easy.
I think, though, that better than anything out there is just do not use the same password on multiple sites, on multiple services.
Right.
Because if the Twitter employees were malicious and took those passwords, which were stored in an internal log in plain text format. Yeah, they could. And if they did and they realized, oh, well, Sasha's password is also the one that she uses on her online banking and does not have two-factor authentication on that process, I can now access your banking. So it's important to have different passwords on everything.
Right, which is something I don't do. But the reason for it is the same reason that so many people don't do it. Because it's impossible to remember a password.
Sure.
Now, I do have like a program, like it used to be a program. I'm searching for the word. It used to be Password Box and then it was bought by somebody else. I have that one.
TrueKey.
Yeah. But, and I can only save so many passwords on it because it's right. So because of that, I don't have a lot of passwords.
I use LastPass now since Password Box was bought out. I didn't want to switch to Intel because it was McAfee owned. So
I should have been here for that episode. Did you say that?
Probably. I don't know. Isn't it public knowledge that we don't want to deal with McAfee?
Well, it is, but it was just like the simple transition because they're like, we're just changing all your stuff over for
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Should not have done that. Evidently, I like easy, except when it comes to two-factor authentication. I want to actually have to get up off my couch, walk to my phone, get it, and be like, okay, yes, indeed, this is me, so that nobody hacks into my Steam account.
That's something. That's something.
Okay. Thank you, Twitter, for not releasing everybody's passwords.
And if you are a Twitter user, it's important that you do change your password. And if you use that same password on other services, you need to change it there as well.
Yeah, like your online banking or something.
That's a good example, but
anywhere.
Anything.
Anything.
You know, anything. That's the scenario.
Ford is developing a new smart car window that will enable blind passengers to experience the passing landscape.
Oh.
A prototype called Field of View uses high contrast photos to reproduce scenery using LED lights. Passengers can touch the display to feel different shades of gray vibrate at different intensities. The Royal National Institute of Blind People said the charity wholeheartedly supports the company's effort. Robin Spinks, innovation manager at RNB, says the technology could contribute to breaking down barriers and making travel more enjoyable and inclusive for people living with sight loss. Ford's team in Italy and GTB Roma designed the prototype with Adeo, a local startup that creates devices for people with visual impairments. In addition to the window displays, the smart car also features a voice assistant that uses artificial intelligence to describe the scenery outside the window.
Neat.
This is really cool and like really leads me to think, okay, so if they can do this, can they do it with art? Right? So then, right? Or could they do it with family photos?
They really don't like people touching the Mona Lisa.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they could do a representation of the Mona Lisa where you touch it and you can feel the different colors by the vibration.
Computer
intensities.
screens.
Right.
Using similar technology.
I love this. And it makes me wonder, is there a way, and I know you won't have the answer to this. I
probably will.
Okay. When you have a part of say your brain blind, right? So it's your brain that does it. It's not your eyes that are blind, but your brain blind. Can you rewire so that you can, like your visual kind of indicators are, like you feel something, but you can kind of see it in your mind?
Yeah, I think you were right the first time that I wouldn't know the answer to this.
Could you actually, like, who knows? People are driving by and doing the scenery. They're blind and they're feeling what's going on.
Yeah.
Perhaps finally they're reigniting parts of their brain visually.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't know, but
sure. I wonder what that sensation would be like, though, for somebody who is unable to see, but is able to now feel the mountainscape that's going by on the outside of the window. And can I take it to one step further?
Yes.
We talked about Tesla and their autonomous vehicles and how it's really unsafe for people to just stop paying attention to the road right now.
Well, some of us think that.
And in fact, last week you mentioned somebody got arrested for switching over to the passenger seat and allowing the car to drive by themselves.
Right.
But isn't it true that companies like Tesla and Ford and other automobile manufacturers are working toward a fully autonomous vehicle?
Right.
So if that's what they're working toward, could this be, maybe this is prophetic, but could Ford be working on, in secret, a car for blind people?
I would love that.
Think about it.
I would love it.
The car does the driving for you.
Yes.
You can feel the sensor to see what's going on around you and to see what is outside your windows. Mm-hmm. Could that be the next step? Could that be something that they are actually working on?
Love that.
If I disappear and there's no show next week, you'll know I'm right.
Right. They're going to hide it.
Because the henchmen are already after me for this. The Ford henchmen. Don't worry, they'll break down on their way here.
Hey now.
Hey.
I love it.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Yes.
What do you think? Is Robbie right?
Well, I'm not arguing against it, so you're right.
I think that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing.
It makes no sense for them to be making a window that you can touch that is like Braille. That makes no sense.
They want you to drive.
Unless blind people 10 years from now will be able to drive a car, and they want it to be a Ford. That's my theory.
Yes. I imagine that this is true.
Cool. How stinking cool.
Imagine the frustration of playing a game where the difficulty level can constantly change. That's what an experiment in AI technology is doing to some retro classics. AI researchers do love their games, and 2 papers have shown that they can use general adversarial networks, or GANs, to make old favorites a lot more interesting. In 2 separate papers, AI researchers built general adversarial networks to construct new video games for retro classics, Super Mario Bros. And Doom. GANs were first introduced in 2014. The system is made up of 2 networks, a generator and a discriminator. The generator creates fake samples of training data, and the discriminator tries to determine if the samples are real or fake. Both networks spar with one another, and over time, the generator learns to forge more realistic samples to trick the discriminator. By applying them to entertainment, the researchers hope that they will be used to help humans design better video games in the future. The Doom paper details level design is usually heavily relies on domain expertise, good practices, and an extensive playtesting. Though to deal with these issues, several game researchers are spending considerable effort on studying and designing procedural content generation systems that, exploiting machine learning and search algorithms, can model the level design process and assist human designers. Adam Smith, co-author of the paper and an assistant professor at the University of California, said Mario GAN creates new levels very quickly, but occasionally makes structural mistakes such as incompletely assembling pipe tiles. It's a similar process for Doom. 1,000 Doom levels are processed into a set of training images that include the game's most important features: the walkable area, walls, floor height, objects, and room segmentation. But if you're itching to have a go at those AI-generated games, you'll have to wait a while. Both projects are still prototypes and can't be played quite yet, although the code for the Super Mario GAN can be found on GitHub. Sebastian Risi, who co-authored the paper, said it's a problem that the team are working on. He says, in the next version, we want to create a level that continually adapts its difficulty to the player.
Oh, no way.
Love it.
Could you imagine? This is the future of games here.
This is not just the future of games, in my opinion. I actually think that this is the future.
The future is just everything's controlled by AI,
this is the future
and it creates our world
of learning. Okay, so if you follow me here.
Yeah.
Okay, so say hypothetically you have a VR headset and you're playing in a VR game, and it's a simulation game, and say it's something small at first, right? It's something where you have to move an object, right? And it gets harder and harder, where eventually you all of a sudden have like a mechanical expertise because it's evolving with you.
Sure.
Or you become a neurosurgeon, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
absolutely.
This is what I'm saying. It's teaching you.
Thinking about the games, we talked with Richard Portelli way back, episode number 512. I just wanted to quickly search our website, category5.tv, for this Hexachords Orb Composer. Do you remember that interview?
Yes.
We were talking about how they had developed an artificial intelligence to automatically adapt the music of a game to suit the mood of where you are in the game.
Right.
So if you're in a forest, all of a sudden it's kind of like a little bit of a pad kind of sounding ambiance, and then you get into a really racy kind of adventure set, and all of a sudden it's really dun, 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 and it's all automatic through AI. Now, what if we took Orb Composer and integrated into this AI system that creates the levels, and you're playing this game in virtual reality with your Vive on, and it is always, always, always different.
That is awesome.
Virtual reality becomes reality.
Right. This would grow, like, just the mind of, like, the cognition of people so much, because you get stagnated. You're in a game that you love, so you play it a lot, but it's easy.
You get good at the level. You get really good at the level.
This is going to
Mario Bros. I can just ace
right.
level 1 World 1.
Well, now there's a new shell, or now there's a new, right? Like, something's happening where you would usually jump.
man.
You can't jump there anymore. And it happens fast, and you have to react quickly.
In real time.
And it
Come
makes
on
you
now.
better at life, because now you're using...
this is getting good.
Right? You're using the training now that you're training your brain, and you're training your responses, and you're training your reflexes in a position
Neat.
where you're relaxed, but now you're taking that into the real world.
Right.
And you're a better driver because of it. Or
what
you're...
if you are autistic, or what if
Right.
you have like PTSD or something like this, and are able to cope with that through a reality scenario? So now
Exactly.
game development becomes not level creation, but more scenario development.
Right.
So here's the scenario. Here are the specifications. We know that the PTSD that this person is dealing with has to do with this. So let's create a scenario around that idea and allow the AI to adapt to it.
Well, yeah. Even like, I think about like team safety training. There are scenarios for, say, emergency responders that they wouldn't even think could possibly happen. Right? You cannot imagine
Sure.
the thing. Somebody
Oh.
could fall between two walls that you never even thought would happen. But the AI could probably come up with a scenario, right?
Yeah.
Right? So all of a sudden you're in a
man.
realistic feeling scenario, so that when a call does come in and something bad has happened, you already have the composure emotionally. Okay, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
And then you go
Been
and
there,
you do
done
it.
that through my vibe.
Yeah.
That's
Vibe.
gaming. Oh man, there's so much potential in this. I know. They're nowhere near that yet. It's still
It's
Super
baby
Mario
steps.
Bros. Levels,
I
and they
know.
haven't got them to create the pipes correctly. But thinking in the future, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we were looking at games that had terrible graphics compared to what we've got now.
Right.
So it could happen.
This is happening. We are going to become such a better species because of this. Like,
You
we're
think so?
going, yes, we're going to just be far more aware.
I see it as a real opportunity for entertainment. Think about that scenario idea, creating a scenario for a TV show, and then allowing the AI to create the characters and have them interact with one another.
Right.
And then have Orb Composer create the music for you.
I just know from my personal experience that I'm becoming a better boxer. So,
There you go.
Right?
Because you were just a mediocre boxer previously.
Before, I never done a boxing match, and now that I've been playing boxing video games, it feels real. I feel, and I would never be in a boxing ring. Are you kidding me? I'm 5 feet tall. But I feel like these sorts of games are actually what will train people.
Okay.
Right?
Police and fire departments and oh yeah.
I like it.
Very cool.
You know
Very
what
cool.
I don't like is
What
this
is it?
next story.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Equifax has published yet more details on the personal records and sensitive information stolen by miscreants after they hacked its databases last year. The cyber break-in occurred because Equifax ran an unpatched and therefore insecure version of Apache Struts, something it blamed on a single employee. That said, just 3 months ago at the RSA conference in San Francisco, Derek Weeks of Sonatype claimed thousands of companies still continue to download vulnerable versions of Struts. The good news, the number of individuals affected by Equifax network intrusion has not increased from the 146.6 million that Equifax previously announced. But extra types of records accessed by the hackers, however, have turned up in Mandiant's outgoing audit of the security breach. On Monday, Equifax submitted a letter to the SEC, corporate America's financial watchdog. Brace yourself. Here's a summary of the numbers, as well as the 146.6 million names, 146.6 million dates of birth, 145.5 million social security numbers, 99 million street addresses, and 209,000 payment cards, including the number and expiry date. The company has now said that there were also 38,000 American driver's license and 3,200 passports stolen as well. The extra data elements, the company said, didn't involve any individuals not already known to be part of the super hack, so no additional consumer notifications are required.
Yikes.
This is just like heebie-jeebie stuff. Like,
Yeah.
do you have advice on how to prevent it. You can't prevent it.
This is Equifax.
Yeah.
Like you trust them with your data because
they're Equifax.
They're Equifax. Like they're.
What can you even do?
You can't do anything. Like, can you start life over? Because they have the power to make or break people based on their credit scores.
Right. And now, like, I just think the stuff that's been stolen is the way to create an entire identity. Really. Like, okay, now I know your name. I know your birthday. I know your address. I know your credit card number and expiry date. I know your passport number.
Yeah.
I know your driver's license. Am I missing anything? Am I missing anything where I could just walk in somewhere and say, okay, listen, I forgot my ID, but here are some things you need to know about me. Do you believe I am who I say I am?
I'm Sasha Rickman.
Right.
And here's my driver's license.
I worked at a bank. And I was not hacked. That's wrong. I was somebody stole from me.
Phishing scam or something?
Somebody walked in, and this is and they
did they trick you with
they
words?
tricked me with their words.
Okay.
So I'm sensitive to this because it happened to me, and I no longer work at a bank.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if somebody has enough information that they can have a conversation with you and sound confident enough in it, people are going to believe that you are who you say you are.
Yeah. And
they just are.
And maybe that's it. And there's a flip side to that, Sasha, in that if somebody has enough information about you personally, you will believe that they are who they say they are.
Right.
So on the entire flip side of someone pretending to be you, there is someone calling you up and pretending to be someone they're not, and presenting themselves with information that convinces you that they are that.
Exactly. Yeah.
For example, hi, Sasha Rickman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's this? Oh, this is Dave Jenkins from RBC. Royal Bank of Canada, and we see that you have an account with us, and your account number is such and such, and here's your, we've got your date of birth, for example, so that we can now confirm to you that we are who we say we are. So, I'm the bank, and I'm calling because there's been an exploit at the bank, and we need you to immediately sign in to our web portal in order to add two-factor authentication to your account so that your account cannot be compromised and your money stolen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a link to this portal that's going to allow you to add the two-factor authentication. So I'll send that over to you now. I already have your email address. Don't worry. Here it is. Oh, you received that? Okay. Yeah. Click there. Okay. Now push that button. Yeah. Now log into your online banking. Perfect. Have a nice day.
Oh. Exactly.
Now I've transferred all your money away.
Yeah,
like just an example, right?
It's just I don't even. It's unspeakably scary how bad this would be. I mean, I guess Equifax has notified the people who are victim to this. But how do you know, if it's not Equifax, how do you know that this hasn't already happened to you? You can't necessarily know. You really have to walk with caution. The part that scares me, the part that really scares me in this whole thing, and I'm still on me trying to prove who I am in this situation, if I did indeed lose all of my stuff, and now there's this increased level of skepticism, who's going to believe I am who I am?
Sure.
Because now they're just going to assume everybody's stolen everybody else's data. And how do you prove you're you?
And how do you prove any? Like, I have had it happen before this breach where somebody had somehow put a debt on my Equifax record that did not exist.
Right.
Like, it was something like $11.6 million, and it was ridiculous. So I had to fight it to get it removed from my credit record because I couldn't buy a house. I couldn't do anything because this was on my credit record. Somebody had been able to compromise my record like that. So then when a bank would check my account through Equifax to see if I can get a house,
like, what do you already own?
You owe $11.6 million, which I do not.
Right. Thankfully. Or you'd have a house already, I feel like.
Thankfully. Yeah, thankfully I was able to prove otherwise. But what about a case where they have access to all of your information and can now damage your credit rating and everything else? It's a scary situation. So what can you do? really just keep a close eye on your bank accounts, keep a close eye on things, make sure your passwords are up to date, make sure you are very cautious of phishing scams like that phone conversation that RBC just had with Sasha Rickman.
But it can also happen in person.
It can.
Which is scary. Just you have to be extra cautious right across the board.
Trust no one.
That breaks my heart.
I know. It's such a world. It's such a world.
There's more good out there than bad.
It's true. Let's keep it that way.
Okay.
All right.
Big thanks to Roy W. Nash and our community of viewers for submitting stories to us this week. Thanks for watching the Category5.tv newsroom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all your tech news with a slight Linux bias. And for more free content, be sure to check out our website. From the Category5.tv newsroom, I'm Sasha Rickman.
And I'm Robbie Ferguson. Thank you for joining us this week. That's all the time that we have.
That's right.
Unreal. Whoa. Time flies, folks, when we're having fun. I hope that you enjoyed yourself.
It's been a blast.
You have fun?
Yes.
Phew, good.
Woo.
And I can't wait to see you next week. Don't forget to tune in to New Every Day this weekend as we introduce our new hosts and new show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I will see you next Wednesday and other times, too. We're all over the timetable.
That's true.
I'll be here Wednesday. I will see you Saturday. I'll see you Sunday. See you Thursday. It depends on where you're watching, folks.
That's right.
Yeah. But take care. Have a great week.